All right, motherfuckers. I gotta do this video. It's about what I perceive to be a new direction that WWE is going in. Now, I said I would do subscriber shoutouts, but I've made these videos away from my computer as I'm going to get my coffee, so I haven't really checked anything. I don't know when my last subscriber was and how many of them there were, you know. So like, I know there's been a few hundred of you now that I haven't gotten a shout out, but if you want a shout out, just say something in the comments. If you want me to like plug you, I'm down for that. You know, we're all about that shit right up in this bitch, in the hater channel. But as I was saying, I wanted to talk about this new direction that WWE is going. What I mean by that is this. We have Clash of Champions coming up, right? One of the main events, motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, appears to be Jey Uso, or is it the other one? What's the other one's name even? Jey and Jimmy. I think it was Jey. Who cares, right? Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. Now, the reason why this is particularly interesting is because Jey Uso, I don't think, has ever won a meaningful singles match, right? As a matter of fact, I don't think this guy has had that many singles matches, period. And when he has, it's always been like he wrestles like Aiden English and the other Uso wrestles like Simon Gotch, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that kind of shit, you know? Like, so no one knows if this guy is impressive or not. On the other hand, in the next NXT TakeOver, the main event is going to be Finn Balor, that's right, motherfuckers, remember him? Yeah. Versus Kyle O'Reilly. That's right, Kyle O'Reilly won the #1 contender eliminator thing. So it's going to be them too, right? Now, this is interesting. And then we also have like the Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre possibility down the line. Who knows when it's going to happen? Is Randy Orton back? Who the fuck knows? You know, he might be gone next week. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that there seems to be this push that WWE is doing to kind of, I don't want to say put over because it's a little premature to say that, but they're trying to push some wrestlers that typically don't get pushed, right? Some tag team specialist type guys. They're trying to change it up. Now, personally, I don't really give a rat's ass about Jey Uso, and I don't really care about Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, he's probably my favorite one in Undisputed Era, but that doesn't say much. However, I am supportive of the trend, right? The trend is what matters. The trend is very important. The idea that you're giving people a chance. Who the fuck knows? What if Jey Uso has a 5-star match, right? I can't believe I just said that. Those words came out of my mouth. But you know what I'm saying, right? What if Jey Uso has a great match? What if he's like, you know, has really good chemistry with Roman Reigns, right? To the point where he has a Kofi Kingston moment. You know what I mean? Because you could easily have that moment, right? It's not like Kofi Kingston was this decorated. I mean, he won a few mid-card titles, but he's like kind of the same place on the card as Jey Uso, right? So it's like, you know, perhaps people start chanting for Jey Uso. You know, the point I'm trying to make is this. You got to give people a shot. This is like one of the biggest criticisms that WWE and pretty much every wrestling promotion has always gotten, right? Which is like, you don't push the right people. And it's an easy like argument to make if you're, you know, a smark or an anti-smark or anyone that's like a smart fan or whatever the fuck you want to call themselves, right? It's an easy argument to make because obviously not everyone's going to get pushed, right? So you just pick someone that you like that hasn't gotten pushed and you use that person to make the argument. You're like, well, I like Simon Gotch. Why isn't he WWE champion? You know what I mean? Like, you can keep going with that forever, right? Well, and some guy can be like, Simon Gotch isn't good. Sin Cara should be champion, followed by Unico. You know what I mean? Like the point is, you can always find someone that you think is underutilized. So the question then becomes, how do you prevent this from happening, right? And the answer is clear. You, once in a while, push like a Jey Uso or a Kyle O'Reilly, right? They don't really have a chance. Definitely Jey Uso has like zero chance of winning the Universal title. But Kyle O'Reilly has like a small chance, I guess you could say, right? You know, if they want to do something with him. So there's an element of intrigue that goes behind this, right? Like where you start thinking to yourself, yo, that's kind of cool. Like imagine if one pay-per-view a year, like TNA tried to do this like with a Destination X, right? Where the X Division champion could cash in their X Division title for a title shot at the world title on pay-per-view, right? That was pretty cool because it gave you matchups that you typically didn't see or matchups that you weren't supposed to see. You know, so it's like you have Drake Maverick, whatever the fuck he was called, Rockstar Spud, right? And he was like X Division champion, and he might be like, I want to challenge Lashley for the TNA title, right? And it's like, okay, you're never going to get this chance otherwise, right? But you've worked your way up in a certain specific way that's detailed in the company lore, and now you have your shot. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to go through with this whole like intricate, X Division championship plan. But you can do something like they did with Jey Uso or with Kyle O'Reilly, right? You can do something to give an opportunity to people that otherwise wouldn't get it. This is what keeps things fresh. And I mean on pay-per-view. I don't mean like, oh, this like Walter wins a match and now he's challenging for the WWE title on like a random episode of Raw when you know he has no chance to win. On a pay-per-view, anything is possible, theoretically, right? This is what happened with Jinder Mahal. One of the only surprises in the last like 10 years. And people shit on Jinder Mahal all the time. And I don't know why, to be honest. Like, this guy's got everything you need to be a star. You know, I don't know why people are like, oh, Jinder Mahal sucks. Like, sometimes people just say shit just to say shit. You know what I'm saying? And when the argument is brought up, when I say something like, oh, Jinder Mahal sucks, well, name one way that Killer Cross is better than Jinder Mahal. You know, one way. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he more charismatic? I don't think so, from what I've seen. Apparently, he's got some promos he cut in the indies or whatever that were good, but I don't think he's more charismatic, right? Is he bigger? Absolutely not. Who would win in a fight in real life? Like, honestly, who would you pick? I'd pick Jinder Mahal 10 times out of 10. You know what I mean? So what is it? Like, Jinder Mahal has a clear gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he was champion, he had a clear gimmick of like basically Indian JBL, right? Whereas Killer Cross is just like the same shit as Baron Corbin. He's like this guy, or like Aleister Black. He's like this guy that's supposed to be dangerous, but like that has some sort of background in like both fighting and also in some sort of occult type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like all this weird shit. Like he's supposed to be like dark and mysterious. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of people out there like Jinder Mahal that I'm not saying that Jinder Mahal should be the next Rock, right? Not necessarily, but he should be given the opportunity to prove himself, right? I shit on Kofi Kingston all the time. And the reason I do is because Kofi Kingston has been given many opportunities to prove himself, and quite frankly, he's failed at all of them, right? Even the WrestleMania one, it was not a good match, as far as I remember it. Kofi Kingston just botches a lot. He's not that entertaining, you know what I'm saying? So, but even him, he deserves his opportunity. He deserves his shot, right? A few weeks ago, or whatever, last week, I did a video about the most underrated wrestlers of all time. You know what I'm saying? One of them, the number one, as a matter of fact, was Devon, right? And the reasons I gave for Devon being the most underrated wrestler of all time is that he never got an opportunity, right? No one is saying that Devon is like the next Kurt Angle, right? But Devon is better than Jey Uso, you know? And Jey Uso's getting a fucking title shot. You see what I'm saying, motherfuckers? You see what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make. People deserve an opportunity. And this has two purposes. Purpose one, you might strike gold, right? You might give someone an opportunity and it turns out that they're better than you thought. And you realize that you have a star in the making. You know? That's probably the minority of opportunities, you know? And then there's I guess the second good part of it, which is that you cannot like continue pushing the same guys because the fans will continuously say, oh, WWE doesn't push the right people, right? Push someone, right? The same way that Jey Uso got a title shot, why not have Cesaro win like a 10-man battle royal and he wrestles someone at Royal Rumble, right? Royal Rumble used to be that pay-per-view, right? Where like all the important people that were going to be at WrestleMania were in the Royal Rumble match. And then you had like, you know, periodically you'd have like Dolph Ziggler challenging for the title at Royal Rumble, or like Mr. Anderson, you know, these people that weren't ready, but this was a good way to test them, right? Or you had people like, I think Muhammad Hassan wrestled Undertaker at Royal Rumble. I could be wrong, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, you give people opportunity to show you, like, can I handle the main event? Can I do something about it, right? And that's how you find the best wrestlers. The Smarks, I will say this, you know, they're a bunch of assholes for the most part, but they do have some solid points in the pushing wrestlers department, right? How the fuck will you know that this guy can or cannot handle the main event if you don't push him ever? Now, I understand there are some wrestlers that should never be pushed to the main event because they have nothing to offer, right? Like, I don't know, if you're like, let me think of someone like Kenta, right? If you're Hideo Itami, that guy's never going to be a main eventer. You can just look at him and be like, this guy shouldn't even be in this company, if we're being honest. He's like this chubby 5'5", like Japanese guy who apparently has strong kicks. Yeah, he has strong kicks because he wrestles like Daniel Bryan and like Zack Sabre Jr. and these like beta males, right? But you know what I'm saying, right? There's people like that all right, fine, disqualify them completely. Even Kofi Kingston if you want, or Jey Uso. But someone like Cesaro, right? He should have been given an opportunity, like Sheamus was given an opportunity when Sheamus debuted, right? Give them an opportunity to be like, oh, let's see what you got, kid. You know, even Cucky Rhodes. You know, I shit on him all the time. But the truth of the matter is that he did deserve an opportunity to be a single star. Now, it could be argued that he had several of those opportunities, and I would agree. But to give someone like Cesaro has been like, I think, U.S. champion once, and then he's been like tag team champion like 12,000 times with different partners, right? And there's no reason why Nakamura can be given the rub and win the Royal Rumble, but not Cesaro. Cesaro, I think everyone in the world that likes wrestling would agree that Cesaro is better than Nakamura in every way imaginable, you know? But he doesn't get his opportunity, you know? Even Karrion Kross, who I shit on, right? There's something there. People like him. Give him a chance. Again, I'm not saying make him champion necessarily. Give him a chance, right? And that's one thing that WWE is doing that I like. You know, one thing that TNA, I always call him TNA, that AEW is not doing though. You know, AEW was founded on the idea that there would be some sort of meritocracy, right? Wins and losses would matter, right? People would be booked according to their skills, right? But that's not what's happening. That's why every champion right now of AEW is a WWE guy. And I think, let's see how many champions they've had. Like, not counting the women's championship because that's like a horseshit title that doesn't even count. And honestly, they don't have any WWE women. You know what I mean? So if they did, I'm sure they'd be champion. Like, Tainara Conti is now on what's it called? In AEW. It's only a matter of time, motherfucks, before she beats everyone because she's a WWE person. But she wasn't even really a WWE person. But you know what I'm saying, right? Aside from Scorpio Sky and Kazarian, you know, I'm not going to be one of those assholes. Oh, Kazarian wrestled in Velocity a few times. No. You know what I'm saying. Aside from Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, every single champion in AEW has been a WWE guy. Like, out of 6 or 7 of them, like it was Jericho, then Dean Ambrose. It was Cucky, and then Luke Harper, right? It was those guys. And then it was, also I forgot about Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Yeah, I guess that's true too. But who gives a fuck? They lost the title real quick once FTR, a jobber tag team from Raw, joined. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. They're not giving people an actual opportunity, right? Like, for example, I've been saying it for a while. Like, one of the good things about AEW, and I'm not saying this is a great act, but best friends, right? Best friends, specifically Trent Barreta. Like, not because he has like a great character or he's like a fantastic wrestler, but he's a good wrestler, right? And he is the obvious workhorse of that company. I'm pretty sure if you look at the win-loss record, right? He has like 30 matches or like 4, like some crazy number, right? He has like three times or 2 times more matches than Cucky Rhodes. He has like 10 times more matches than Jack Swagger, you know what I mean? But he doesn't get that respect at all, right? Because it's not a meritocracy. Ultimately, it comes down to, are you a Cody Rhodes guy or are you not a Cody Rhodes guy? That's what it comes down to, man. That's why Goldust has a spot. You know what I'm saying? He's his brother and he's a WWE guy, so he gets a spot, right? Darby Allin, for all the shit they've been saying about how Darby Allin is great, they book him strong sometimes, and other times he's losing to like Joey Janela or some horse shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like he's like 7-7, his win-loss record, quote unquote. Same thing with Orange Cassidy, same shit. You know, he's out there beating Jericho in a pay-per-view match, but then he's getting his ass beat by like fucking Luther or something on AEW Dark that nobody watches, you know? Because how else do you explain his bullshit like 8-8 record or whatever the fuck it is, right? 8-8. This guy's wrestled 16 times in like a year, you know? Meanwhile, Trent Barreta is out there wrestling every week, you know? So give people an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Give people a shot. That's the fundamental element of business. It's like business 101, you know? If you have 10 candidates, give them all a shot and the best one gets to become whatever, promoted or something, right? That's what I'm saying. And that's what I like about WWE. At least this current version of WWE. Again, I'm not saying that out of everyone, the most deserving people are Jey Uso and fucking Kyle O'Reilly, all right? No, absolutely not. But I'm saying that it's a step towards the right direction. Because if Roman Reigns beats Jey Uso, maybe next time he can wrestle Cesaro, right? And that's going to keep the feuds fresh. That's going to give Roman Reigns good matches to have, and it's going to make everything entertaining. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Like, seeing Keith Lee, you know, injected into the main event scene is kind of silly to me, but at least it's new, right? And then boom, all of a sudden, Randy Orton's back, motherfucks. We have to now tolerate Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre again. And you find yourself in these scenarios where, like, a feud lasts 3 or 4 months, and some of these feuds are clear, like who's gonna win, right? And you have to tolerate 4 months of like Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler, let's say. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see that. I would much rather see a 4-month arc, if you will, of Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre versus Grand Metal League. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 different guys. It'd be more interesting than seeing him wrestle Dolph Ziggler again. You know, like wrestle the same guy on a different storyline. You know, it's fucking stupid. The first storyline was like Drew McIntyre was the heel. Oh, Dolph Ziggler got complacent. And now Drew McIntyre is like, you have no honor, Dolph. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, just give me random matches at least. That's one thing that when I started watching ROH back in the day, that's one thing that I liked. Maybe it was because I didn't know who the wrestlers were yet, but it seemed to me like it was some random ass shit. You know, there were some storylines, but it wasn't odd to see like a tag guy. Like, I remember like the best match I've seen in ROH history. It was fucking Daniel Bryan and Austin Aries, right, who were like two of the top guys, versus the tag team champions, Age of the Fall, Jimmy Jacobs and Seth Rollins, right? And Seth Rollins was made that night, right? The real feud of the match was Jimmy Jacobs and Austin Aries, and their partners were just there to be partners. But since they started wrestling outside the arena, what happened was that their partners were wrestling in the ring, right? And then you expect Daniel Bryan to win because he's like, you know, he's like their number one guy, basically, right? But no, motherfucks, Tyler Black or Seth Rollins hits the little God's last gift, whatever the fuck it was called, that package, was it a package driver, small package driver, right? And then he hits the Phoenix Splash and wins. And you're like, holy shit, I just saw like Devon beat The Rock, basically, right? You know what I mean? And he was made, and that eventually became his introduction into becoming champion, which led to him being signed by WWE, etc., right? Everyone needs a chance. And I think that's the real draw that people got from companies like ROH, where they were giving people chances. They're like, oh, this guy's entertaining, we're gonna give him a chance. Now, sometimes you give them a chance and it turns out they suck ass. And that's fine too. You know, that's fine too. You're gonna find people that suck ass. That should be part of the protocol. You can't always play it safe. Once in a while, you're gonna need that David Arquette champion. You know, you need that. You need to try things out. You need to have balls, right? WWE and especially AEW have fallen complacent. AEW I can kind of understand. I kind of get it because it's like, yo, you're a new company. You know, someone wants to tune in. They don't want to see Orange Cassidy as champion or MJF as champion and wonder to themselves, who the fuck is this guy, right? You know what I mean? They want to see people they recognize. It was the same philosophy with TNA when they started. Jeff Jarrett was champion for like 90% of the first like 5 years, right? And the reason for that was very simple. You tune in, you're like, oh, Jeff Jarrett, I know him. You know, you don't tune in and think to yourself, oh, Monty Brown, who the fuck is this guy, right? Nobody knows. You know, you see Jeff Jarrett, and then through Jeff Jarrett, you build new stars like Monty Brown, like Abyss, like AJ Styles, right? And then eventually, Jeff Jarrett drops into like Rhino or something, you know, someone else who's recognizable. And then you keep building. And then eventually you build to a point over like a decade, basically. You build to the point where AJ Styles can be like, is the face of your company. And then AJ Styles becomes the best wrestler in the world. But you have to give AJ Styles a chance, right? And sometimes in order to find AJ Styles, you got to give a chance to Darby Allin, motherfuckers. You got to give a chance to Grand Metalik, right? You got to give a chance to jobbers because one of them might have something there. One of them might like turn out that they're a complete jobber now. They get fired. They hit the gym. They come back like Jinder Mahal. You know what I'm saying? There's people there, or Drew McIntyre. There's people there that need an opportunity in order to showcase what they are. And that's the problem that wrestling is going through. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like WWE is doing exactly that. It seems like they're giving a small chance at a pay-per-view, at a throwaway pay-per-view, to people like potentially Keith Lee. I don't know how that's going to play out. Quite honestly, I forgot how it's going to play out. I think Randy Orton came back, but I don't know how the main event's going to play out. But whatever, who cares? You know, they're giving a chance to Jey Uso. They're giving a chance to fucking, what's his face? Cuck O'Reilly. You know what I'm saying? Cuck O'Reilly, like, give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? Give him a chance. Like, I never expected him to win that match. You know, I figured it would be like, I didn't think it was going to be Kushida. But I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be Kyle O'Reilly, let me tell you that. I thought he was just like a placeholder, you know? I figured it might be Cameron Grimes or someone, you know, that could have a good match with Finn Balor. But Kyle O'Reilly will do just as well, motherfuckers. You know, so there you have it. That's what I'm trying to get at here, you know? There's something to be said about giving people a chance. And this chance, last point, motherfuckers, this chance doesn't always have to involve the what's it called? The WWE or Universal title, right? Another great example is, what's his face? Apollo Crews, right? Apollo Crews is finally being given a chance. Now, again, I'm not saying Apollo Crews is the next big thing, but he's being given a chance. You know, he's someone that was a jobber forever, and he's being given an opportunity to do something with his career, basically, right? And he's someone that has some talent, so why not give him a shot? You know, like that's like you don't want in 10 years for the hater to make a video about the top 10 most underrated wrestlers and have people like Apollo Crews on there. You know what I mean? You want to give people a chance. So that the hater or the next hater can say, okay, Apollo Crews, he was underrated, but not one of the most underrated because he got his opportunities. And that's all I got to say about that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll see you guys later.